Meeting here for today's team meeting. That's Keith. Keith has gone to the car to get something. I know. I'm not really sure what that means. But hopefully he'll be making an appearance here soon, because only for Keith would I wear this paint explosion over here. So, this is gonna be our gratitude. Is it not? Ruby Roswell. Does anyone have gratitude today? We have fun little, we don't have candy today. Greg identified them as face tattoos. I don't think we're gonna go that far with them unless somebody's really feeling it. But does anyone have a gratitude they would like to share today? Hey, I gotta start. I'm grateful for Keith. Sure, even more. He was great face too. That's not what he looked like. I'm grateful for Keith. Sure. That made my heart it. Anybody have a gratitude? Anybody else? Somebody have a gratitude? Yes, ma'am.
I got to spend the weekend, well, Saturday and Sunday with my grandchildren, all my grandchildren.
And how many is that?
3 right now.
Oh, was it wonderful?
It was wonderful. So,
I'm glad you got to do that.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. Anybody else with a gratitude? We're gonna scare the heck out of Merle. It's okay, Merle. Come on in, babe. I promise. No. Come on, Merle. Get on in here. Get on in here. Oh my God. Yeah, you nailed it. Thank you. What? Yes.
Okay, so I just got back from a week-long mission trip into an organization city of Mexico. And the children weren't there. The child.
With what?
A child was lost the week before we got there.
Oh my God.
So, we got half the team there, flights were canceled, we were going in the day that everything, what happened at the airport. So half the team, talk about the devil working against you, everything that could go wrong went wrong. But those of us that could get there, we got there, we pivoted, we just, instead of doing what we normally do for the children, we did it to the community. And we saw the force of horror, and it was just, it's a reboot of the soul. And we come back here, and I take my birthday back, and I'm really trying to take like seriously where I come bugs on my head. But gratitude is just, God gives us gifts and talent, and we need to use them every single day. And even though, what we do in our lives today, I mean, everything that we do, you can touch somebody every single day. And you don't have to do it for thousands, just one person. And whether it's kindness, whatever it is that they need, because when you can serve people, then you actually serve your heart. So that's my sermon for today.
Greg, so thank you for telling us that. I think we're actually all involved in a lot of things, not real estate related, that we do for the public. And I'm very proud of the way all of our agents act, both in real estate and out of real estate. We are a very giving community, which is wonderful. So any more gratitudes? Yes, sir.
I'm grateful for everyone that's helping me right now, especially Harry.
That lady right there.
And my full-time therapist right now.
Everyone give you. Yes, thank you. Peace for you. All right, anybody else? Thank you, Twan, for sharing that. Carrie's doing a great job. We've had a lot of action going on in PC coaching lately, which we are very excited about.
PC.
We're actually,
I have a gratitude.
it's going to be business coaching, because it's going to encompass a lot more. So somebody was yelling over this. Who was yelling?
Actually, it's Precious.
Hello, Precious. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great and inching my way in. But I wanted to say thank you to Alicia. I had a hitch with my transaction, just the weirdest thing, we see everything. In the middle of the transaction, my seller decided not to sell.
No. That's hard.
Yes. So, I mean, we were kind of really numbstruck, but I called her because I needed help. I said, let me call somebody, one of my colleagues, before calling Melba, because Melba is always there, you know. So I called Alicia and she made a valid suggestion, and she made a suggestion, which turned out to be a great one, which was the route we took, and we're closing. Amen. So yes. So
And I think that Alicia is rewarding herself right now in Bali.
Yeah.
Alicia
I'm a
is in Bali right now, so we're gonna let her enjoy that. Thank you, Precious, for sharing that. We so appreciate it. All right, guys, moving on. You guys, did everybody get something to eat? That is wonderful today. And scientifically advanced pest control. If you guys want to come on up, and I gotta tell you who these guys are. One of my best friends, her name is Shelley Hall, married this incredible man. And they actually all work together. So they're part of the family. So
Hi, my name is Scott Kittle. I'm the service manager for Scientifically Advanced Pest Control. Give you a little history. We've been in business for roughly 3 years. However, combined with everybody in the company, we've got over 50 years of experience. I personally myself in the industry for 32 years. So it's pretty much all I've ever done. We do everything from residential, commercial, from household pest control, to rodent control, to exclusion, wildlife, and termite, and also the official Woodland Pest Safety Report, better known as a clearance letter. So anything we can do to help you, any questions, comments, concerns you might have, feel free to reach out to us. And I'll turn it over to Greg Hutter now. He is our account representative, and he will take it from here.
By the way, guys, welcome, thank you, love it. 70s to me it was awesome. But again, and thank you, and just really what we want to do is if there's any questions and education and what you guys are seeing in the field, we'd like to know about that. And it's about servicing the customer, making your job easy. If there is an issue, you've got a partner that you can go to. And that's it's customer service. And we pride ourselves on that. We're not one of the big national chains. What we do is we focus on the customer service communication. Any questions? Good, I don't have any. But yeah, it's what we do is like to have a direct line with you guys. If you have a customer with an issue or an existing property that you may want to be listing, we can go over that. We've done this in the past with getting the property up to date. Yes, ma'am.
You cover the whole metro area, correct?
Correct.
And so what type of lead time do we need to get you to a client?
If it's something that we can schedule within the week, we can do that. And if it's hey, I've got to get this done tomorrow, we're going to make every arrangement to make that possible.
Normally within 24 hours.
Yeah. And we're growing. We're growing probably 25 to almost 30% a year. And it's been a good thing. Again, what we have every week is a meeting, and it comes down to customer focus, service, communication. Sure.
What do you mean by scientifically advanced?
So what we're doing is we're taking the latest advancements in the pest control industry, again, with the green products, environmentally friendly products, and the processes to implement those new and changing products for the property to achieve what we're trying to do is a pest-free home, limited damage, no damage to the existing structures. The amount of money that is lost on a per year basis in the South is, those termites are hungry. But yeah, we're always evolving with the products and processes that are coming out for the EPA.
For your basic termite inspection, is that a flat fee or is it based on other things?
The actual inspection is a flat fee as far as for your clearance letter. We do have a flat rate for that. Now we do inspections for due diligence, all that's, can be done at, it's a pre-inspection, so to speak, but like for your clearance letter, there is a flat rate.
How much is that?
If for review, it's 75.
Yeah.
That's our flat rate going across the board.
But retail, if somebody was to call us, it's $150. For us to come out there and do that, but for you guys, we want to make it, advantageous for both of us.
And they're a good company too. I can vouch for them. They're wonderful.
Is there anything agents need to do to get that free inspection that's listed on your website? Anything in particular?
Just call us, and let us know.
Yeah.
That-
Where we need to go.
Yeah,
Correct?
call us, identify yourself and where you're from. It goes in the system. We got it.
Thank you guys for being, this is a new one of our vendors this year, and we're very, very excited to have. So,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you.
Well,
That's all.
I don't have any moves, but that's. As many of you know, I'm Melba Franklin. I'm actually the Director of Broker Services for Georgia Legacy Group, which we have 4 offices in Georgia. And if I can ever help you, you're welcome to call me 910, and I think my information's on the screen, so make sure that you have it. What I'm here to do, I go to every team meeting, and unfortunately, no, that's not true. Fortunately for me, unfortunately for you, but fortunately, last week was your week. It's always the 4th Tuesday of every month. And last week I was on vacation with my family, so didn't get to be here. So fortunately for you, I came today. So I come every 4th Tuesday that I can. So I wanted you to be aware of that so that you know that I'm going to be here. And I do carry the same message. Andy has asked me to speak the same thing at every team meeting for a month so that all of the group can hear the same thing. Does that make sense? So you get the last one for this month. But what I've been talking about at the team meetings so far is this new form. It's called pre-showing compensation agreement. It's literal pre-showing. I don't know what else to say. When I was on vacation, I did take calls, and over the weekend, I got a slew of calls. What is happening, we're finding out, is you come to the class and you absorb the material, you take a lot of notes, but when you're actually implementing it, you have a little bit of a struggle. So we're trying to help you with that. But before I go into this form, I do want to tell you a couple of things. I am teaching this class 2 more times for those that want to come. You might take it down. Over the weekend, I had one agent that said she didn't know anything. And she said, I wasn't able to come to any of the meetings, and that's respectful. And I said, I taught it at a lot of locations. She wasn't aware that you can go to a different location and take it. I don't know how she missed that. We tried to promote it. So I am teaching the new GAR forms on Chat North on the 9th, Chat North on the 9th from 10 to 1. This one's not my favorite, but it was the only one we could fit in. I'm doing it at Windward on the 8th, the day before, between 2 and 5. So I'm doing it at Windward from 2 to 5. Oh, it's up there. Look at you.
I'll check on the date again before we send it out, but we have Friday, the August 9th on there for Chat North, and then Wednesday will be KWNA.
I'll send the right date. I think it's Thursday, but nonetheless, I want you to know about those. What has happened this year, many of you also know this, that 2024 is the day that all of you have to have code of ethics. By now, I would have taught it a zillion times. However, we pulled the plug on all the classes for code of ethics, and I pushed in the GAR changes relative to the NAR settlement. So we're trying to get back into doing that. So I am teaching the code of ethics class tomorrow between 10 and 1 at Windward. So if anybody wants to get that done, take it, get it credited, you're welcome to do so. Remember, you have to get it done before the end of the year. Everybody has to take the code of ethics. Has nothing to do with the Georgia real estate license law, has to do with NAR. So I'll be teaching that tomorrow at Windward. So we'll try to keep you up to date so that you can take it at any of the locations that we have available. So the pre-showing agreement. What I recommended is that you get this agreement at the time you get the listing. And the agent called me and she said, why would you do that? Well, I ain't got time to worry about it, right? So she said, I got over the weekend, people that hadn't come to the classes, a lot of other forms that other companies are using. I don't know why. And she did not know about this GAR form. So if you're a listing agent with Georgia Legacy Group, we recommend to you use this form. It is a binding agreement that Seth feels like could be a legal agreement that if you need to prove that you get paid, if it is signed and you do receive it, we can take it all the way to the courthouse because it has all the elements in it for you to get paid whatever the listing agent said. Right now, there are still a lot of people in there saying that what is in multiple listing service is still there, but that is soon going away. So let's talk about the listing agent. You would get this filled out at the time that you get the listing. And if you remember this, if you don't even have to think, my D is gone today. I'll probably just be lipping. This right here mirrors the seller brokerage engagement agreement. So you don't have to think, go ahead, and it mirrors whatever you filled out on the listing agreement. Questions I've gotten asked a million times is the seller part of it on page 2. Well, really and truly, when I taught the class, I talked about a gross method where the seller pays you a certain amount, let's say 6, and out of that 6, you're going to give the other brokerage, the buyer brokerage, 3. Melba Franklin calls that the gross method. However, everybody has a different mentality of how they think, how they process, how they do business. So in the listing agreement or seller brokerage engagement agreement, they could pay you 3 and on that next line pay 3, but then that would be in addition, not included. Everybody got it? The difference, what is included, what is in addition? So you would check that box. So you would put that here. Well, if it is where a seller wants to do it separately, 3 to you and 3 to the other agent, and says on there in addition to the above, then the seller would be decided absolutely. But this is what I say. When you take the listing, I ain't got time to work on it. Just get some more. So if the seller signs it, it's not void. It's just, does the seller have to sign it every time? No. If I'm the listing agent, I ain't got time to figure it out, right? I know I'm being just easy, but that's the easy button. So if you're the listing agent, you would get the seller to sign it. Everybody right? Good. Well, I feel like all of you got it. We go up with you know who. And so you have to call up and say, do you have a pre-showing agreement? What's happening? They don't know what a pre-showing is, right? They don't know what a pre-showing agreement is. They don't have one, and you're welcome to share it with them. However, listen, if you share it with them, it's not a negotiable sum. Remember I told you that? This form is a disclosure from the seller, not a negotiating tool. They're a lot different. So you can't, if you send it to an agent who doesn't.
We've got passion, we've got determination. Like, and if we set our sights on something, you better believe it's happening.
Negotiate. Remember, this is just a disclosure. I reference it to this is what FMLS used to say, right? We had another incident over the weekend where the agent's showing property, and when he shows the property to the buyer, he wants to reduce the commission owed to the buyer's agent by 1%. Seen that before? There's not a problem with that, I told you. But you would need to disclose that on the pre-showing agreement, right? Say yes, just even if you don't agree. Okay. All right, so we're good. So I want you to try to get the pre-showing agreement. Yes, new homes are going to have their own. I think I told you about Seth, what Seth said about the, if you were in my class, can I repeat it, I guess? In the Zillow showing agreement, Seth says, and I quote him, it's a garbage agreement and only garbage agents use it. That's what he said. So I'm going to say to you, if you get that, I want you to be able to get paid. I think you do a dadgum good job. And I want you to get paid. And I know this form, I can carry it all the way because it will get you paid if they fill this out and you like it, remember? So my point is with this, try to get this. If you get a Zillow touring agreement, try to send this over and say, would you get this signed for me? And if it says that the seller's paying you in addition, then right here is where it says, in addition or out of. If it says in addition, then the seller better sign it. Everybody got it? Okay, now I'm gonna say this and everybody listen. If you get this prior to showing and you like it, you're fine. You do not need that other agreement that I'm not gonna talk about today called broker compensation exhibit. I know that there have been some trainers that have been saying you have to have that with every contract. That's not true. Nobody read, but that's okay. And it says at the top in capital letters, it says this agreement should not be used if the broker's compensation, the party or broker paying it have already agreed to a separate written agreement and is not being modified. So if you get this pre-showing agreement and you like it, you don't need to use the broker compensation exhibit. If you get it and you don't like it, then you're going to have to use it. If you don't get it at all, you need to use this. Any questions? Did I make it clear? We good? I think we're good. It's all the other people that are not. Don't you agree? Yeah. Okay, so a lot of my evaluations say only other agents get a team, right? So I'm here for you if you need me. Don't forget the classes. We'll make sure we send it out and you're welcome to any of those because we're getting up on August the 17th real quickly and things are going to dramatically change in the industry.
Thank you, Melba. Thank you. I love the transition music. All right, speaking of, there she is, her music going. Yeah, come on, Kat. She had that onward mortgage.
She had a blog, but she couldn't find it.
I couldn't find it.
So I did this, which actually is the way I wore my hair in the 70s, and I walked out, my husband's like,
I
if
remember.
you were brunette, that was like. That's fun. So we have a special guest because of the theme today.
Yeah.
Jeff Hancock, he is with Premier Reverse Mortgages. He's been there 4 years, 25 years in the mortgage industry. He actually worked with us at Shelter. He was actually at Shelter for 18 years. He is married, 2 boys, 29 and 25. Loves and is passionate about soccer. You played?
Still playing.
Still playing. But the cool thing about it is he is the Atlanta United chaplain.
Wow, that's very cool.
So we're gonna let him come up and he's gonna talk about reverse mortgages. He's got handouts. And he, again, and Merle and others have already used him. He's your contact if you want to talk to a senior about possibly doing this now or in the future. So come on up, Jeff, and he'll tell you more about himself. Oh, and we do.
You need help, Jeff?
Oscar Nunez.
Yeah.
Oscar is our most hire. He is the LOA at North Atlanta, with Stanley's team, just out of UGA. Tell them about yourself already.
Parents are Mexican immigrants, so, you know, my Spanish is pretty good. And yeah, here to help you all if y'all need anything. It's great to see so many faces, hope to meet you all.
So Oscar, as he said, his parents were immigrants. His passion, when we talked about the interview process, he's with interim, but he wants to have families like his parents and people, you know, that he can help, you know, anyone really, but also definitely someone that needs to get to that next level of becoming legal, buying their home versus renting the rest of their life, and that's gonna be, part of his passion.
I still believe in the American dream.
I love
Yeah. Thank you for your commitment, to the outfit, Tammy. Yeah.
And thank you for having me. Thank you, Kathy. That's my gratitude. I'm grateful to be here. I've been a loan officer most of my life, I think. And I haven't done a sales meeting in 7 years. So
Welcome.
for me, this is amazing. And I love the energy. I love the get-ups. It's just phenomenal. So thank you. So my mom told me whenever you go somewhere, always bring a gift. So I've got some eggs that I'm going to give away. I'm also a farmer, do lots of farming where I live. And if you will pass this around, if everybody puts your card in.
Nowadays. I'm telling
Eggs are golden. That's right.
Now.
So get your cards. Yeah, these are fresh eggs. I got them this morning. But we'll do that at the end, so you got plenty of time to get your card in there. You will get on our email list. We're usually once a quarter, once a month, something like that, so it's not overwhelming. But it's good information. It's brief. It's short. Kathy, I think you get the newsletter from Matt, so it's good information. So who knows about reverse mortgages? Show of hands. Okay, just a little bit. Okay, that's pretty consistent. When I come up to people and introduce myself and tell them I do reverse mortgages, this is what I get, get away. There's such a negative connotation that goes with reverse mortgages. But I've told a lot of people we have an education problem because people just really don't understand what they are and how they work. How many of you know that a reverse mortgage is actually an FHA loan? Did anybody know that?
I do.
Okay.
I know. A reverse mortgage is an FHA loan. So appraisal issues, you know what to expect, okay? If paint's peeling, we're gonna have to fix it before closing. We've got some things we can do in escrow, so there's some flexibility there, but keep it in mind, it is an FHA loan. The seller or interested parties can contribute 6% towards closing costs, okay? So think FHA. See, I made some notes here. So let me tell you a little bit how I got started in this. I was with Shelter Mortgage, started in the late 90s, and I was working at a community bank in downtown Decatur. And we did partnerships, which is kind of what y'all are doing here with Kathy and Onward. But the president of the bank says, I want to be able to offer reverse mortgages to people in Decatur who've been in their house for 30 years, but now they can't pay their property taxes because Decatur has their own school system and the property tax through the roof. So she said, we want to figure out how to do reverse mortgages. So she told me and my boss, Richard Sissom, who used to be Kathy's boss, figure it out. So we figured it out, and I closed my first reverse mortgage in 2002. And I did that for a few years. Of course, I was a forward mortgage originator as well, which took up most of my time. And I told my boss, I said, this reverse mortgage it's great, but it's a totally different sales cycle because I'm out, chasing real estate agents, 30-day closings, and the reverse mortgage is kind of like you're lucky if you get a 6-month closing. It's just a long process because people are thinking about it. Most of the time it's for a refinance, so people aren't quite sure. There's a lot of negative information floating around about reverse mortgages, so people just don't know. So 2 years into it, I hired a guy, and he worked for me as my assistant for 4 years, and he became the reverse mortgage expert. After 4 years, he left us because he was telling our underwriter what the conditions should be. And we figured that's probably not a good idea when the loan officer knows more than the underwriter about the program. So he ended up starting his own company, which is Premier Reverse Mortgage. So in 2017, I stepped away from the mortgage business. I wanted to focus on my non-paying passion job, which is soccer and coaching. So I did that. And a couple of years after, I'm kind of looking at the bank account and I'm thinking, I think I need to start making some money again. So I called Matt Newmeyer, who started Premier Reverse Mortgage and was my assistant for 4 years. I was like, do you want to hire me as a loan officer? So he did. We're licensed in 15 states. Me personally, I'm licensed in Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, and the great state of South Carolina. But if you've got friends, relatives, acquaintances in Virginia, Texas, Arkansas, Colorado, Arizona, California, all those other states, we can help you. So keep that in mind. So I've got some resources that I can either leave behind or put them in a location. This is a guide that we did about using a reverse mortgage to purchase a home. How many of you knew that you could use a reverse mortgage to buy a home?
I've done one and it
Lee
was
knows.
awesome.
Okay. And I've met with Lee. I'd be happy to meet with any of y'all one-on-one, or if you want me to come back and go a little bit deeper into this, I'd be happy to do that. But this is a good little thing to have. And then in this white box, I've got some folders with, am I doing okay on
You're
time?
doing
Okay.
great, yeah.
There's frequently asked questions. Keep in mind, we're geared towards the senior community. We're not really high tech. So we've got some nice handouts. I've got very nice folders, very nice glossy handouts.
Come on now.
I mean, and again, not being at a sales meeting in 7 years, I love the folders on the desk, the food, the energy. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm home again. And I was at Chattahoochee North for 4 years as in-house loan officer there with Shelter. So Melba used to come and keep us in line and, time to time when we needed it.
But we'll put all this out for you.
Yeah, okay, thank
Take
you.
care of all that.
I mentioned, reverse mortgages actually started in 1980. That was when the first reverse mortgage was done. And it was kind of the Wild West. So anything goes. If you can get somebody to sign their name on it, whatever they sign, that's the deal. So a lot of people did lose their homes. That's the big thing you'll hear about reverse mortgage. Oh, I'm going to lose home. No, you never lose title to your home. What happened in 1994, FHA and HUD got involved and they started looking at it and they said, hey, this makes a lot of sense. I think, this is something that we could get behind. So in 1994, that's when FHA got into the reverse mortgage business. Before that, all bets were off. A lot of people got taken advantage of. It was not a good thing. And those horror stories survive to this day, and I have to fight them every day. Big thing you need to know about reverse mortgage. Yes, sir. All right. Big thing about reverse mortgage, if interest rates go up, loan to values go down. So you guys know that interest rates are about as high as they've been in 20 years, all right? Kathy? Pretty close. So right now, if you're 70 years old, you're only going to get about 40% loan to value on a reverse mortgage. So if you're going out and buying a house, you're going to have to put 60% down and we'll come in with 40% on the loan. Yes, sir.
Can you describe exactly what a reverse mortgage is? What is it exactly?
Well, it's a note with a promise to pay. However, you don't make monthly payments. You pay.
62.
You got to be 62, correct? It's a negative amortization. So all that interest that's accruing on whatever you borrowed, you and I that have regular mortgages, we write a check every month. If you have a reverse mortgage, that interest just gets added on to the loan balance. So it's a negative amortization. So every month, your loan balance is going up. Now you can pay the interest as it accrues each month. And a lot of times, if you have children that want to keep the real estate when the parents pass away, we'll work out something to where they can pay that and, limit that loan balance when they pass away. Did that answer your question? That's kind of,
That's a good question.
and this is a really deep topic. Okay, wrap it up. All right. Okay.
We need to do a class.
Yeah, so I'd be happy to come back and entertain y'all and tell you more. So let's give away some eggs, because that's really what I enjoy the most about the lending business, is giving it away. I'm only here to get out of it.
Drop their cards in something so bad.
They were ready.
All right, I got two people, two winners, and they are
Put them back, that's not my card.
Ashley Goodrich.
Where's Ashley? Awesome, Ashley. Your belt bottom. I mean, look at Ashley's people outfit, y'all. Look at that, she has a real belt bottom.
And Roxy Hernandez.
Oh, wow. She's sorry, I'll take care of all of it.
Thank you.
All right, now. Look how the burning I saw. We're running around here.
Sports with Apelli and Sorgan, I'm totally distracted by this.
I got
today. So I used to roller skate in the 70s, like a lot. I had a back pocket comb. It was purple and it said cheap thrill. Wow, I wish I had it today. So I just want to mention this because I think there must be something going on in the market out there because I've had lots of questions about 1031s. Right? 1031s, tax deferred exchange. This is for investment property. Okay. And capital gains tax, questions about that. So I cannot give tax advice. I'm not an accountant. You should not get tax advice, but I can help you point your clients in the right direction on who they need to talk to about capital gains, Georgia withholding tax. This applies for non-resident, non-Georgia residents. It also can apply to some LLCs, depending on how they're taxed. So they really need to start with their CPA. But we do close lots of tax deferred 1031 exchanges. And if your clients need somebody to talk to that acts as qualified intermediary, it can answer essential basic questions before they even list their property, let me know. I can help put you in touch with somebody that can help with that. But they're pretty easy to do. Just let your client be in touch with the right tax experts and 1031 companies and all of that.
I was gonna say, I've done 5 in the last couple of years and I've got a great tax or a great 1031 intermediary attorney and she's very reasonably priced. Everybody wants that information too.
Y'all
are 1030.
We do not, no, we do not. We're just we still act as a closing attorney.
Does your email have a S or a Z in it?
That is easy. Good on. Hey, thanks for that too. Yeah, I'm at the end of the month, so I gotta scoot back to my office, right? But I'm always available. Shoot me a text, right? If you need, if it's a general question or question about a specific closing, you might want to start with my staff. Because they can probably answer it for you. But I'm always happy to talk to you. Pre-listing phase, whatever it is, reach out.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you.
Karen, do you want to say anything about mega camp?
Oh, yes, it's camp. Good camp. On Monday night, Cafe Blue, 7:00 for those of y'all are going.
It's right across from the conventions. Very handy. The food's good too. Thank you, ma'am. She take very good care of us. I did not see Mrs. Brenda here.
No, I don't think she'd take it. I don't think
I don't think she can handle 70 tonight.
I didn't see Tammy.
No, me either.
I think we're at.
But there she is. There she is. Good seeing you. That. Okay, girl. Yeah. I realized there's a camera and I was like, actually. So hello, I am Jordan with Diane Endeavors, for those of you who don't know me. I know you're used to Chandler being here on Tuesdays, and don't worry, she will be returning. I am just here because I am teaching an awesome class right after team meeting, so stick around, there's food, so you have no excuse, you have lunch already. The class is about listing leverage. So a little bit about me. Before I started working for Diane Endeavors, I was an operations manager for a team for 3 years. And I helped them with all of their behind the scenes. And now that I'm more on the marketing side with Diane Endeavors, I kind of combine those two things to teach you guys about how to use the listings you have now to create new listings down the line and how to really leverage that into more listings. So stick around after team meeting. I'd love to chat with you guys about those strategies. Awesome. And thank you for teaching the class. It's going to be a good one. And it's right after. So thank you. Thanks for being here, Jordan. Thank you. All right, we've got a ton of featured events coming up. Mastering the Market at the Moment, that's every morning except for Tuesdays from 8:30 to 9. The link will be in your slides. We really want, if anybody has any interest in being in leadership, not just, it says it's coaching, but it's not just coaching, it's leadership as well, okay? So for those of you who have been here for a while, those of you who are new and have ambitions to move up in the real estate world, this is the class for you. Does the idea of real estate coaching intrigue you? It should actually say, does the idea of, being a leader in real estate intrigue you? If so, this is the class. There is one this Thursday and there's one next Thursday. They are both virtual and they are taught by Deb Jolly. So if you can go, it's a good class to take. State of the Market. I believe this is Friday. Yes, it is. Friday, August the 2nd from 9 to 12 at the Forsyth Conference Center. This is your chart masters. So if you can make it to this, please try to make it to this. They're going to give you stats that you can use in both your listing and your buyer presentations. So thank you for doing that. Career visioning, we've been talking about this. Make a reservation if you can still get in. It's going to be Friday, September the 6th and Thursday, September the 5th. Both classes, you get a little bit of a discount on the price, but it is career visioning with Gene Rivers. He's absolutely phenomenal and he can help you take your business to the next level, but that's exactly what he can do. So this is a first. I think honestly, we're just going. Hey, we are just going to announce this. We're just going to announce it. So on please no, on December the 12th. 6 to 9. We are going to have all in a group. I'm gonna ask y'all to please leave your guns at the door. Let's say, bring the ammunition, but leave the guns at the door. I'm just kidding. That's a joke. One of my old CEOs used to say that. Georgia Legacy, all the Georgia Legacy groups, KWNA, KW Realty Consultants, Chat North, and KW Bilingual are all going to be coming together to be having our holiday party. So we usually do it individually for those of you who have not done this before. We usually do it individually. We were told we were doing it this way this year. So you know what? We're going to show out, y'all. That's going to be fun. That's all I got to say. We're going to show out. Roswell is going to be so Roswell, they cannot stand it. All right. We are going to have the best time. I'm not scared by what that means, but we're going to have the best time ever. I would love to get great precious. That's beautiful. I would love, I would love for y'all to come to put it on your calendar. Let's go. Let's have a party. It's going to be at the Atlanta Marriott, Windward Parkway, and we're going to show them how we do it. All right. So I'm super excited about it. I think we're going to have an absolute blast. It's the first time we've done it all together. So it's going to be a party. Productivity coaching. Where is, and if I can please ask my people who are on the first what you want, baby, I got it. It's not you are what you need. You know I got it. All I'm asking is for the respect. Just a little bit, baby, just a little bit. Just a little bit, mister, just a little bit. I ain't gonna do you wrong. Why you go? Ain't gonna do wrong. I don't wanna. All I'm asking
At their jobs, and we're so proud of the hard work that they're doing as well as the ones that get to be here. But in July, y'all, we've written 4 buyer contracts. Taken 6 listings. And I was hoping Neha would be here, but we've got our own Tuan. And has taken the bull by the horn. And has written his first contract.
Y'all haven't appreciated the fit. Give us a big time. Thank you, Terry. That was absolutely wonderful fun. Congratulations to everybody online. PC is on fire. If you feel as though PC coaching is something that you need in your life, I have a feeling Terry would be so happy to talk to you. Absolutely. So happy to talk to you about it. All right, would you like to tell them what we have coming up next?
We have a very special panel for you guys. Guys, I'm gonna tell you a little statistic. 1 out of every 5 real estate agents don't make it. We have some agents coming in today who've been in the business 20 years plus, and they're gonna share their experience with you. They're gonna come in.
Okay, spare me, but. Hey, you guys, pick it up.
Roxy, Michael's online. I just want to.
Oh, okay. Michael online, so. Moment.
So I'm not going to dress up. Something hit me last night at about 10 o'clock and I was like, I'm gonna dress up tomorrow. So I went to my daughter's closet.
Shoes.
Oh, so my youngest daughter goes, what are you doing in Ansley's closet? She doesn't like that. And I said, well, she doesn't live here. And so I put on one pair of shoes and she goes, oh, mom, those are stripper shoes. I can't wear that.
I love them.
She's not giving empty feet. No.
The secret's out there, it's fine. So do you want to tell us what this panel is about, Ms. Raymond?
So we want to hear about your experience, how you stayed alive through the real estate. So we would love to hear your experience. We want to hear some of your stories. Roxy, if you would like to tell us what you've done to stay in the industry this long, what you've done to set yourself apart. And then we'll go into the stories after everybody's had a turn.
And you can have some funny, like pre-internet stories, because I know I've got a ton of them, so we'd love to hear those as well.
Okay, so I'm Roxy Hernandez, and next year we'll be at 30 years in real estate. I actually have this folder that I've saved for all these years. That just has things in it.
Yep.
Like, I see a fax transmittal. Well, we'll go over that in just a second. We'll go over all that. So, yeah, things are a lot different. So, this is easy for those of you that are in real estate now.
Absolutely.
Right?
Roxy, how did you get around in the old days without a GPS?
We had map books.
Yeah. How did you find out that the house was on the market?
Get the weight. On the, was there a book? There was books. Similar to this. That were about this thick. Yeah. Yeah. So
Y'all never said it.
got all over your hand.
Harmon and. Yeah. So y'all, the phone books, you get two, was it two sets? Everybody got two books? And they were about,
Well, and then you get in the 2 weeks in between, you would get the new listing,
Supplement.
the supplement with the new.
God,
Well, so I mean, I actually, the first time I looked into real estate was in the 70s. And I had never bought a house or anything, and I went and the broker started talking to me about MLS books. I'm like, what's an MLS book? I didn't even know what an MLS book was. So, but anyway, as time went on, they used to just be one. They didn't even have the supplements at the very beginning. But then they started having the supplements, which was so exciting because we'd get the new listings and the supplements. And then you'd have to carry around the book, the main book was like really thick with all the listings in it. And then you'd have the supplement, which was the new listings in it. So, and we had to figure out what houses looked like from the picture, the little picture.
and how big were the pictures?
They were little.
And what color were they?
Black and white.
Black and white. So we learned, and they'll attest to it too. We had to learn, like, you could pick out just from those little pictures, you say, well, that's a split foyer, that's a ranch, or that's a 2-story. And, we ended up having to learn a lot by looking at those little pictures.
So I'll pass this around. This was a Keller Williams.
I love
How
that.
we do some advertising.
And if, like, say you spent all this time and you had all the things picked out, and we're driving down the street and I'm like, Susan, I want to see that house. And that isn't in the group of things. Why was that? Because it wasn't real time.
Right.
Or sometimes we'd have to go and pick up a key at another agent's office to be able to show it.
Yeah.
And remember, we only had one FHA or VA key. So if you were showing VA or FHA, you had to have the little. Can I see your number?
Also GPS.
Yeah, tell them.
This was it. I had a pager for about 6 years and I carried quarters in my car. So
Yes, girl.
stopped and make a phone call. And I was hungry. So boy, when I got paged, I stopped, I made a call. I got thanked for calling so quickly. But it was a chore. And then I'd have my customer look up the page that it was on in the book because I couldn't drive and read the book.
And now wait, I think we're leaving something out. Y'all remember, we used to put people in our car.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like y'all do it now. We were stuck with these suckers. And half the time, they're gross people that you wouldn't even want to deal with anyway, and they're in your car and you're having to be.
What's the year you got your first box phone for your phone?
Ooh, forgot the first phone, the car phone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my first, I met a guy in a parking lot at Cracker Barrel or.
Things you don't know about Susan.
Bought this bag phone.
Yep.
Back then, they were like, it was like this big. And I was like so excited, because to get this.
What? Susan?
What?
What?
Because they didn't sell it in any stores or anything. You had to just find somebody.
No, Susan had a black market.
Find
I love it.
Tag phone, I remember plugging it in and being able to talk, like, I thought I was hot stuff.
Well, and remember too, like, it was like $2 a minute.
Yeah.
So when people say, could you hold me, she goes, no, what?
You absolutely did. So we had the car phones and we had the bag phones, and I remember we thought we were hot, we're walking around with it. Yeah, so at the map book.
So Michael's not here, my husband, but when
Oh
he,
my God, is that a list?
that was what the listings look like.
Yep.
You can pass that around. Just
Y'all,
don't take
y'all be very careful with all of this. When we would print out a listing.
Yeah.
This is what they would look like. And this is after, this was right when the internet first came into being. We were all like, first of all, it's never gonna work.
No.
You gotta put all that stuff up in the cloud. Like, what are you even talking about? And then when they finally got it up.
Yeah.
You did.
So if you can imagine Michael driving his stick shift Honda, holding this, so he's got one leg, has that on this up here, holding his sheet, trying to, navigate. So that was always fun. And without GPS, I was known for, I would write at the bottom of the listing, I would have to look it up in the map book. I'd get up really early in the morning, all nervous. I have to show houses. And I'd write at the bottom, L for left, R for right. So my clients thought I knew exactly where I was going, and I'd glance down and see where I was supposed to turn, or I would get lost. And they're like, haven't we already gone down this road? And I'm like, yeah, but I heard that there was a water main break going on.
And I think the expectations were a lot higher, which seemed kind of weird, but they expected you to know exactly where you were going. There wasn't, it seems like it would be less now with the GPS, but they wanted you to know every single turn. And if you didn't know it, then you didn't know where you were going.
I'm curious, guys, how did client representation go? Did you represent both buyers and sellers?
No, we
Was it
only represented the seller.
No dueling.
So what did the buyers have to do back then?
Well, so I was in the first company in Atlanta that had a buyer agency. I started a new homes and then I switched to this company. And they all they did was buyer agent. And there were very few companies like that out there. But that was like towards the end, that would have been 86 probably.
What company was that, Susan?
JDA Realty. And they're actually still around, but it's very small.
What were you gonna say?
On security, if we felt threatened by anybody, we were told to call the office and ask to speak to Dr. Bates.
And if that was the cue, y'all do not call Melanie, do not call Melanie.
And come to the listing right away.
Yep.
And then also say, can you pull the red folder, please, on 123 Main Street? And it means I'm in trouble or I'm not feeling comfortable where I'm at, so.
Because there wasn't any way to communicate.
Right.
So you guys remember back in the day, I'm an Albert agent too, but remember back in the day, we used to always have to do 7 copies of the contract?
Yeah.
And sign and initial and scratch.
And go to their house.
7 copies of everything.
Absolutely.
You have to go to their house to get
And
everything.
the carbon paper, did you have to put the carbon paper between the copies of the contract and type?
What's hard?
Be quiet. Better. But I was talking about the map that she's holding up. You've got to go from page to page to page to page to page. So if you're driving and you're holding the book, like with your leg, and you're flipping, and you're asking Mr. Man over here to try to help you with stuff. I mean, it was.
Or you just make copies of it and then paste it all together.
We made all copies to get 20 pages. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like this big, and you would fold it, and you would follow as you went along. Y'all, it was.
So here's a copy of a flyer. Yep. I would go.
Oh, God, with the picture.
To Walgreens and get.
We really used to do this. We used to do this, and we would make 100 copies of the picture, and we would paste the picture on the flyer.
And then you had this company called Flyer Express.
Yes.
And on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
And how we had in our offices.
Taught you that. The flyers for your new listing, but it took about 10 days.
And the way we would. Is to the tubby hole. Yeah. So Every agent would have. And the Flyer Express people would come in and everything that was on Caravan, they put it in every single cubby hole. So every agent would grab their stuff, walk out and go on.
And you all took your different colored flyers.
Absolutely. What color do you want?
Yeah,
Well, I think if I go with the hot
What
green,
season is it?
it's not the best.
Yeah. All in black and white.
All in black and white.
Oh, here's our seller disclosure statement back in 1994. It was only 2 pages.
Contract.
Yeah. Contracts.
Amazing. Contract for 2 pages, 1 page, probably
Uh-huh.
1 page for you, right?
Right,
What year,
right.
what year did you?
It's been 32 years, so I will have to do some math.
Yeah, I must be the oldest. I've been 41 years.
I think, yeah, I'm in the third. Yeah, I'm in the thirties. I'm right there. I'm right there with Myrtle. Yes, ma'am.
What we did to present a contract, there was a formality. And if you wanted to present a contract, all the other agents, you would go to the seller's home, regardless of the time. The seller might not get home till 8 or even later. You would go and you'd sit in the car with your contract, because the protocol was you could not go into the home until the other agent arrived. The other agent would arrive, she'd signal you, and you could come in and sit there and present. Maybe it was a bad offer. And you're sitting there talking to your seller
Trying to make it sound.
and explaining it. And then they would say, thank you very much. You can go wait out in your car. And we will call you when we have a response. It could be at 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, yeah.
If you were there and you were presenting, and
Y'all, it's true.
it was scary, especially when you knew it was a bad offer. Looking at Mr. Seller, grumpy as everything, so challenge. It was a
On that
big deal.
note, Meryl, can you share with us one of your craziest real estate stories? And then how you've been in business so long? What's helped you stay in?
There are a lot of crazy real estate stories. Oh my gosh, let me think about it. One that I remember in particular, you were out showing property, and this is not so long ago. You're out showing property and the sign says, beware of cat. You know, don't let the cat out. So you're going through and you're trying to watch the cat, trying to watch your client. So you get out and you leave, you're locking up. The cat runs in front of you and you went, oh my God. So I said to the young man, you've got to go get that cat. You've got to do that cat. You cannot leave unless that cat's back in the house. So he ran, he was young and athletic, he had to really chase that cat. He got the cat and put him in the house. And about 45 minutes later, I get a phone call from the agent. Merle, that cat does not belong to this house. Very much. I don't know. I guess the agent left the wildcat.
You gave him an offer and a new pet.
Instead of option money, you're getting.
So how did you do a BPO back then when they didn't have the internet to?
Oh. How did we?
We did the books.
Yeah.
We did the books.
And a typewriter.
Yep. And Tom, you actually would have to drive and go look at the house. I mean, you would have to make an appointment and go look at the houses that you thought were gonna work with your BPO. Yeah, it was a lot. And they would pay you, I think it was like $50, $25 a BPO.
Nothing, yeah.
Or something. Who else got a crazy story? Yes, ma'am, let's hear it.
I was working with a couple who said they wanted to live in a Catholic neighborhood.
Oh,
Yeah, that
well,
was
that's tricky.
It wasn't tricky back then.
Yeah.
And so I found a house for sale, like it's on the same cul-de-sac with the Catholic church. And they loved it, but they wanted to see the basement. So the owners were there and I said, we want to see the buyers want to see the basement. Are you sure?
are you sure they want to see the basement? And I said, yep, positive. And so they said, okay, she yells down there, Laura, they want to see the basement. And so we're like, you know, Laura. So we go down there, we never found Laura. They had strings of sheets hanging from the rafters. It was an unfinished basement. And we know she was behind one of those, but we don't know. Decided to buy it. They bought they had to do a lease purchase because the sellers had some kind of financial problems. So they did a lease purchase. They went ahead and put $60,000 in that lease purchase, which is a no-no. And we got ready to close and the seller couldn't close because they owed taxes, everything. And the other agent said to them, well, I mean, this was their client was, you've got a nice watch on, you've got a nice ring on, why don't you like sell those and pay off your taxes? And she got up and left the closing. Oh, so I stayed and tried to, we worked it out, but we had to take notes from Jenny Pruitt and just to make it work, we had to give up part of our commission. But it was from
And you never
beginning to
found
end,
Laura?
it was terrible.
Nobody ever found Laura, the basement?
We never found her.
Okay. Oh, it's still there. Oh, my God. Anybody else? You got a good one? Susan's got one, y'all.
So we probably all have stories of walking in on people coming out of the shower. People sleeping in the bed, you know, walking around because you didn't have the showing time or, you know, any of that. And, but yeah, there were 3 of us going on after Caribbean. We decided to go preview a house and walked in and there was somebody sleeping in the bed. And we just kind of, and then they would never have known because back then they didn't track the, you know, the lock. So we figured we flipped out and the person sleeping never knew that we were sleeping. But probably my wild and craziest story was that I was working with a guy and he was actually fairly popular. He ran for office here in Atlanta, but I worked with him forever because he kept going from condo to house, condo to house, condo to house. My now 44-year-old son was 16 at the time. And he called me up after work. We worked on a shoe store at North Point Parkway. He called me up and he said, Mom, I just hit a Jaguar. And he said, you're not going to believe whose it is. And of course, immediately I'm thinking somebody, you know, some movies, somebody that I would recognize tells me my client's name.
Oh, no.
He had hit my client. Car. That's probably one of my memories that sticks out the most.
Did you sell the house?
Did sell the house
There you
and
go.
actually, he's still a client after all these years.
Wow.
Anyway, that was one of my wild ones, but you know, walking in back then, you know, they didn't talk about staging and some of the houses we'd see, oh my mercy.
Clutter.
Oh, there was one that you literally I couldn't even hardly walk through. But somehow I managed to get them to, after lots and lots of time, you know, and I'm sure we all have those stories that just work, trying to get them to get their clutter out of the way. But as far as staying and, you know, it's just doing the best job you can for people and taking that, you know, going the extra mile for people. I mean, I've done things like go to judges' offices in downtown Marietta to get them to sign the freaking piece of paper to get my clients, you know, able to go ahead and close their house, you know, things like that. I've been known to go to find the mortgage companies of people who the mortgage company's lying, you know, and I knew they were lying and showing up at the mortgage company and facing them, you know, right in person and saying,
So you go
okay,
the extra step.
what's going on? And stop answering my phone and all kinds of stories like that, you know, so I think for me, it's just been going the extra mile and doing everything that you can to help your client to close and staying in touch, of course.
Thank you, Susan. Ms. Donna, you got any?
Well, I mean, I got.
I know you got a million.
I'm 39 years, so it'll be 40 next March.
January 40 and March.
And we all got it about the same time, but
Yeah.
I have a ton of naked stories.
Oh,
like-
Okay, fine. Okay,
The funniest
I was showing a house up in Manning's Ridge, and the people were like very exact about what time I needed to be there, and so it was about 5 minutes early, and I knocked on the door and no answer. So I went back to my car and called, and she said to me, "You're 5 minutes early." And I said, "Okay." And she said, "If you could just wait in your car." And I'm like, "Okay." And she goes, "Then you need to park in the street." And I'm like, "Okay." So I followed directions. We get in, we show the little house. It was 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, little 2-story. We get out to the garage. It was apparently a little old couple, which I didn't realize, but I'm talking to my client and I open the storage room door, which is like this big. And here's this little woman sitting on this stool and her husband standing behind her, which is why they were very exact about, and of course they had to make me think that they were gonna pull out, which is why I couldn't park in the driveway. But there they were, just sitting there waiting on me to finish showing how scared to be jeepers out of me. Yeah, they're just sitting there, just ever so probably naked, no. Oh, gosh, many stories. I guess, I went on a listing appointment. It was an expired listing in Liberty Square.
Oh, Liberty Square.
In the 90s. It was a 1-car garage.
Liberty Square.
Had a split foyer where you go in and there's stairs going down, stairs going up. I knock on the door. This little lady opens the door, but she doesn't walk up to the door. She's on her hands and knees.
Oh, God.
At the door. So she opens up the door and I said, "Hi." I said, are you okay or something?" And she said, "I just had back surgery and I don't have any family or friends that can help me. So I'm sleeping on the main floor." So I go up the stairs, or maybe she slid down the stairs somehow. And she has a microwave and a little refrigerator. And so I sit on the floor doing my listing appointment with her because she couldn't, walk around or whatever. So we're doing the listing appointment and I go to close and I said, "In our short time in meeting today, do you have the confidence in my ability to help you get your home sold?" And she said, "I don't know, but I have another favor to ask." And I said, "What is that?" And she said, "Could you cook me an egg?" And I said, "An egg?" She goes, "Yes, a fried egg. I haven't had one. I don't have any family here." So I go into the kitchen. And yes, I went in there. I fried her an egg. She said, "A little salt and pepper." She'd yell from the other room. I gave it to her. And I didn't get the listing. Please give them big. Y'all are amazing. I can't even tell you how much we appreciate. Oh, I love it. You can say that. All right, so this next panel, I know we've only got a few minutes left, we're running a little bit over, but we're gonna do this. This is important stuff. Our next panel are agents who have their SRES designation, Senior Real Estate Agent designation. So if you guys, I think we have a little walk-up music.
Do you have to be a senior to get that?
Senior to get no.
No, it's not saying that you are a senior agent. You don't get a discounted, right? It's saying that
But
you
you're
are a
talking
senior
about-
specialist with your client.
It is. Pearl, and then we've got. Chance, let's find out. Yeah.
I have to YouTube it this morning. I did do it. I could do it on roller skates with my phone on. And I had to tell her to go look at us since we're gonna have fun today. But okay, we're gonna read her something.
Guys, thank you for coming out today. We would like to know a little bit about how it differs working with senior clients as opposed to regular clients. Meryl, I know you did a class on this a couple months ago, so we'd love to hear about that. We'd also love to hear about why you decided to get this certification and what this certification means for you. Who would like to go first? Merle?
Yeah, we'll look the other way like, yeah, okay, good.
I've had the SRES certification for many, many years. I would say, today, it's a whole different world. But guess what? The largest demographic out there for the next 10 years at least is your senior market. And if you want to be very active in real estate, that's the market you want to be involved in. And part of it is not only are you looking for your senior client, you're looking for their children, their adult children. Because guess who's helping to make a very big decision? I recently moved into a lovely senior community, and I'm talking to people from all over the country. How did you get here? Everyone said, my daughter or my son got me here. Hello. Guess who needs the most education out there? It's the son or the daughter who's helping mom or dad make that decision. And there's so many aspects. It's no longer just sell the house. That's a whole big ballpark when you're dealing with the senior client. And I think when we talk about that designation, it's like everything else. It's a continuous learning process. When you have the SRES designation, you are constantly updated material, telling you what's going on. Things like how to say it to seniors. That's a whole different ballpark. That's a whole different category and how to talk to them. And I think as you're looking at it, and today that's my specialty. Obviously, I'm right there in the middle of it, but it's such a critical field that you know as much as you can about how to guide them, and you're guiding their children, their adult children who are lost. They're lost, but they've got to help mom or dad decide what to do, and usually very, very quickly. So I would not only highly recommend an SRES designation, but I would highly recommend that you make it a continuous part of your learning. There's a lot of material out there today that didn't even exist 10 years ago, but really make it because you have the opportunity to impact a family. And sometimes that family is in crisis. And if you were there with all of your knowledge, with your designation, you're going to make a big, big contribution. So couldn't encourage you more in that SRES designation.
Thank you. And how do you talk differently to your senior clients? How do you explain things to them? Do you do contracts differently? What does your business look like when you're working with clients of various ages and clients who are in the senior age phase?
I think when you're working with the senior client, number one, forget texting, forget anything. It's going back to how we used to do it. You meet with them one-on-one, but even before you meet with that client, you invite the decision maker. And it could be the son or the daughter or whoever, because they need to be part of that process from day one. So they can, number one, trust you, know that you know what you're doing. And it is a much longer, I don't want to call it a sales, but it's just a much longer, it's really relationship building. Because they've got to have that confidence that you know what you're doing and they're totally trusting you. Maybe all of their life savings are in this home that they've been there for 40 years. So what do we do? How do we do it? And how can we get the most money for it? And it's a real long education process, but it's so worth it. It is so very worth it.
But piggybacking on that, I do work with a lot of people that are downsizing and been in their house for 30 years plus. There's two things, and this I just really learned on the last transaction, was when people have been in their house for 25, 30 years, you don't realize that, I'm gonna deliver contracts, the void ones, so that they can review the contracts. So that we're not sitting down and they're signing something that, and I just presented, things have probably changed as you bought this house, and I just want to make sure that you have all the agreements, if you have questions, here's what'll come up as far as the amendment to address concerns, so don't be, nervous about that. But that education, the attention to detail that I had to do was a really good learning process. And there's also phases, moving is so overwhelming that I will go over to people's house with black garbage bags and tell them, these are your friends, just go through your drawers and throw it out, because that's really the relationship building, but it's also so great to work with a couple. They trust you, you've helped them through a major transition. It's awesome. So I love working with them. And then also I have a sheet of every steps. Don't start with the big stuff, pack your photos and just all those little things people don't think of. So I think that's helpful too.
I have to add to that on a personal basis, here I've been helping people, telling people, oh, don't worry, just do carpet and pay and we'll get you settled. Or, it's easy to clutter. I personally have just lived through the 3 most trying weeks of my life, because guess who had to come in and, paint, precision, carpet, vendor, oh yes, we'll put a new countertop in. But the very worst part of it, and this is what you'll encounter with seniors, is what do you do with all of this that was in the attic that you haven't seen in 15 years? And what are you going to do with it? And Carrie been there, she's raising her hand. That is stressful. That is really stressful. So, my approach based on my personal experience right now will be a lot of empathy and a lot more hands-on helping, because I realize just how difficult it is to sort through it. It's easy to say. And I also realize, and this is just an aside, don't bring in your family members. If you want to have that relationship later, hire some outside people, because this is the greatest opportunity to clash. Carrie knows this, clash, because you have a son or a daughter or a sister saying, well, I can't believe you even bought that in the first place. Oh, I can't believe you had that for so long. And it becomes very painful.
Why do you have 20 of those bird feeders?
Yeah.
What problem?
Yes. On that note, Leah and Roxy, I would love to hear from one of you guys on how do you help your clients declutter? What does that conversation look like when they are a senior?
It is, okay, we, when we started our team, I'm gonna back up this a little bit. And we're gonna bring the business aspect to it and come back to that. We very intentionally decided to focus on the senior market. And just to Merle's point, the amount of, just to give you a picture of the amount of opportunity, in the next 20 years, $70 trillion worth of assets is gonna pass, 70. To give you a perspective, previous generations was only 7 trillion. The bulk of that is sitting in real estate. So it's not just about their house. So when you think about the challenges that we have in real estate, there's one huge giant demographic that does not care what the interest rate is. Because when they have to sell, when they have to liquidate, when they have to transfer real estate, it does not matter. They have to do it. They're sitting on a lot of equity. There's a lot of But we have learned it is not, if you're transactional, and you want to get in and out, do not do this. It takes the patience of a saint, and I'm hoping that.
I don't have that much
She
faith,
doesn't.
don't lie.
Patience, I got the patience. And it takes a village. What they were just talking about, when it talks about decluttering, when you're sitting across from a client, when we have a case, we have one guy we have brought in, a state attorney, tax planners, financial planners, because it is not just one decision. When he wants to buy, how's he gonna buy? He's gonna buy with a reverse mortgage. It's not for everybody, with a reverse mortgage. We've worked with cases where you're sitting on a house of 5,000 square feet, and they gotta go to a nursing home or an assisted living that's 800, teeny. So are you gonna do it as a realtor? Not your best use of time. No, you bring in professionals. What we have learned in the last 9 months, it's been painstaking, but there's an entire industry out there of senior vendors, senior movers, senior declutterers. That's all they do. They're special certifications, and they look for your certification. So you better be certified, because they're not even going to talk to you. If you're talking to an elder attorney, that's where all your referrals are going to come to. So if you want to be in this market, be taken seriously, you need to get certified. It's not that hard.
How do you do it? How do you get certified?
You go up to NAR, there you take the class, I don't know, it's a couple $100. It also, when you become an SRES, that qualifies you as an elective under ABR, and here's a little plug for ABR. You can get it for free right now through NAR through the end of 2024.
And we'll have a slide when we send this out right after the panel, so that you can sign up to do your.
There's no ABR, but don't do it because you think, ooh, that's so cool. Do it because you're gonna invest, because it costs money, y'all. And if you really want to get serious, then you can get certified. KW has a community called KW Real Estate Planner. We're certified in that. That means we are certified in trust, probate, 1031 exchange, because if you are going to be dealing with this market, 1031 exchange is huge. Okay, sometimes it's not the best to sell the property. Maybe we need to, we've got a client right now that Ann's working with, they've got to stage that sale because there are heavy tax consequences between 2024, 2025. And financial planner is going to advise us, and the tax advisor going to tell us how that gets staged out. You got to stay in your lane, okay? But when you bring all this team together, you now become the quarterback for some of the families where all the children are living all over the world, and we're talking to them via Zoom. So we are like the adopted daughters that come in, and no contractor meets with Mr. George unless Ann or I are there. And he's so adorable. I have a crush on him. Slight crush. He's 91 years old. So he's a power lifter. He's like Jacqueline. Anyway. But what I was gonna say is that there's a whole world out there. It takes time. People in the industry, they need to see, you cannot fly in at a senior networking meeting, hand out a bunch of business cards, and think anyone's going to give you anything. We've been going to ones for almost a year, and we are just now, people are trusting us. Like, oh, you are still here. Yes, I am still here. Okay. And they need to trust you, because you also need to trust them, because this market is built on relationships and trust. And so when you talk about decluttering, I stay out of the lane. I bring in different people, and there are different kinds of declutterers. And this is where you have to get to, like, we have a vendor database. Every time I go to a networking meeting, we get all the cards and we filter through them. And these vendors, by the way, are also clients. Okay. But you have to be super intentional about who you meet and what you're going to do. So as a KW Real Estate Planner, there's only about 500 agents, y'all, in KW that are certified in this, but it's a powerful network. As a matter of fact, if I have to refer business outside, I will pick a KW Real Estate Planner, because I know that they are serious. They've been certified. They're smarter than the average bear. You have to have a certain GCI, I think it's like 150K or something. But they've been in the business, and you can trust them. So I went on a segue.
Does anybody want to share how you guys are getting your senior leads, or you refer?
Well, I'd like to look at it from a business perspective, right? So
this is not a niche that you want to get in to get out or do it just casually. It's not going to give you more than likely a return on investment. I remember having many conversations with Merle, and she told me I learned from Merle, it's so true. The seniors will make decisions based on crisis, right? Crisis driven. The kids really will be making the decisions, actually where the kids have been bringing us in. But as a business, you, like Leah said, you have to really be prepared and decide if this is something that you want to tackle. You can get the certification, the SRES, I would suggest get it anyway, why not? And then you'll become more familiar. But if you choose for that to be your niche, which I hardly suggest that you decide what that's going to be, do it if you're in it, for the long term.
Yeah.
Roxy, any last words like that?
I've always had a passion of working with active seniors, even from a very young age. You know, I think kids either gravitate towards people that are older or maybe they're a little scared of them. But, you know, going in and painting their fingernails at the nursing home, you know, when I was younger and taking my daughter, my mom passed away at 63 and my dad passed away at 70. So I went through this whole process of helping my mom while she was sick of the decluttering and selling. But I just have a passion of working with active seniors and sharing with them that I don't have a mom or dad that's here and I want to make sure they're taken care of and not taken advantage of as if I would want my parents. So kind of adopting them. But yes, it's a long process. You know, they can't find a form. They can't remember where they did this. You were just at their house. So it's a long process.
So I think what we're hearing is customer service, love, compassion, kindness, all the things. So thank you guys. You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks a lot for bringing all of the historical into props and historical information. All right, guys, do we have any caravans going on today? We've got to talk about what's coming up. Does anybody have any caravans? Nope. Okay. Anybody open houses are coming soon? Nobody did, yes? Oh, wow. Okay, hands everywhere. Yes, girls.
Okay, my own personal home goes live Thursday.
Yay.
We've worked so hard. It is ready to show. It is in Johns Creek, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, master on the main. Brand new quartz in the kitchen, brand new quartz in the bathroom, really great condition. Top school. And if any of you read recently, Johns Creek was named one of the top suburbs in the entire country. So, anyway, it will be live Thursday, Friday on the market. Showing time, price is $6.15.
Good price in Johns Creek, y'all. Good price.
For you.
Thank you, Merle. Next, yes, ma'am.
Me? Okay,
2.5.
yes. Okay, probably we're gonna be listing it probably the second weekend in August. But 2012, the newer build, 5-bed, 4-bath, Alpharetta Versailles, Denmark High School, beautifully kept and well maintained. The price will probably be either like $7.99 or maybe just right.
Okay, these are good prices, y'all. That's another hand. Yes, ma'am.
I would come in Friday, Alpharetta, Johns Creek, depending on what you want to call it. Some of the neighbors say Johns Creek, some say Alpharetta. It's 3 bedrooms on main plus a bedroom upstairs, new paint, new quartz in the kitchen, updated bath.
What high school?
Okay, it'll be like, 6:30.
Okay, y'all, these are good prices in Johns Creek. Yes, ma'am, back.
Have a new listing coming up in Thursday.
Okay, congratulations.
Connect to adult community, it's in Marietta.
Okay.
2 bedroom on main level, 1 bedroom, 6430064,
Nice.
coming for 490. Nice.
And it's her first listing.
That's right. Carrie with the pink one. Oh, I love it. I love that. We just keep carrying around to throw things at us. So yes, ma'am.
I have a townhouse in Riverwalk coming up on Thursday. It's 3 bedrooms, 3 full baths, and after on the main, completely renovated.
Nice. Very nice. 500.
small house in Stockbridge, 205. The house has been kept up. It's really nice. Crepe myrtles in the front, little zen area in the back. It's really beautiful. It's 205.
205?
Turning live on next Wednesday.
On next Wednesday, great price. Yes, ma'am.
I'm a buyer need.
Let's hear it.
North Fulton, East Cherokee, up to 1.3. Pool. It doesn't have to be a master on the main, but it has to have a pool and finished basement.
Okay, you guys keep that in mind? Everybody heard that? Anybody else got anything they want to share? Now, everybody ready to get out of here? Yep, pretty much. Okay, I think that is it. Saving our inspirations. I love this one. Learn from the past, prepare for the future, and live in the present.
And stick around for the listing leverage class.
Yep, yep, that's it, you guys. Thank you. Thank you for. Bye. Thank you guys for being here.